We have a surprise guest.
Yay!
So we have Becky from Roy and Becky. And she's going to help us do the case today, which I'm super excited about. Did you do any previous Googling on this, or are you fresh to the case like I am?
I somewhat knew about it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know this one. I think this one's going to break my heart. But
And that's what I was telling her and Roy, that
Hey, Shanna.
that we do the story, or I do the story and I submit it to you, and you have no knowledge of it unless you knew about it previously. So it's pretty cool the way her reaction is when she sees the story.
yeah, some of them I don't know anything about. Now, there are some where I'll suggest, and I'm like, oh, I think this one might be good. And that's because I've learned a little bit about them. But
Yeah.
Oh, there's Roy.
There's
Hey,
Roy.
happy place camping.
Howdy.
Through and welcome everybody in here real quick. So we had MelNetteLivingFreeZipCodeless in here first, of course. We have Shanna Craft, Happy Place Camping. We have me.
Hey.
We have Christina Bell. We have Roy.
He's all by his lonesome. Oh, man, he's unsupervised.
Oh, no.
Is the lady in the middle available? I think she's married. I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, Charlie.
She's
You're out of
taken.
luck. All right. Well, let's jump into the story real quick. Up here. All right. And then I will let you ladies start. You can choose whoever wants to go first on this one.
Okay.
Be nutty.
Me.
Hey, there's Mr. Tommy Travels.
That is a beautiful baby.
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy.
Lacy Spears became known for poisoning her own child. She appeared to be a normal person. There didn't seem to be anything wrong with her. She even worked as a nanny and also in a daycare center during her teenage years. She appeared to love children.
Hello, Hitch Up in Tow and Tommy Travels. Thank you for sharing us out. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
She appeared to be normal.
Yeah.
Okay. According to reports, she dreamed of being a mother, so she became pregnant with her first and only child in 2008. At the age of 20, the baby was named Garnett Paul Thompson Spears.
I never understood the two middle names.
Yeah.
I don't know what, maybe it's just because they can't decide, but I didn't know if there was something special that has to do with two middle names. But I've noticed a lot of people more recently being named with two middle names. Garnett's first days of life.
And I was saying Garrett for the longest time, but it's Garnett. Look at him.
Oh, so precious.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some big blue eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Marble blanket.
He looks so happy. At only 9 days old, Garnett became very ill and even had to be hospitalized. 9 days, huh?
9 days. Yeah.
He was growing, but his health problems did not diminish, and he was frequently hospitalized. The doctors never got a diagnosis 100% right. They said that the set of symptoms that the baby presented was almost unbelievable. Happy Place said he is a cutie pie. And, oh yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Garnett had high fever, ear infections, convulsions, and gastrointestinal problems. The cause of the illness was always very uncertain.
That word is huge, and you did really well with it.
Did I? I was hoping I would get it.
That is a very big word, and you did really well.
Thank you.
8 months old and a feeding tube.
Yeah, that's sad. Aww.
Aww. He
He
looks
still seems happy in a way, you know, he's just comfortable.
comfortable, but he also, there seems to be like a hint of sadness in those eyes now. It's so weird how you can see so much in somebody's eyes. And in the
Yeah.
other picture, he was so bright and like happy looking. In this one, he just looks,
Probably like a state of confusion. Don't know what's
like
going on.
tired, exhausted.
Yeah.
All right, Becky's up.
Nearing his 8th month birthday, Garnett again suffers another hospital admission. According to his mother, he was not eating, he was losing weight, and she did not know what else to do.
I don't like where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
At Lacy's request, through a medical procedure, a feeding tube was inserted into Garnett. A while later, Lacy continued with the same complaint. Garnett was still not eating. The doctors, desperate, not knowing how to act, once again accepted the mother's request. Okay, question. So they put in the feeding tube. Did they leave the feeding tube in, or did they take it out and then put it in again? Because it says a while later, Lacy continued the same complaint. Garnett was still not eating. And then the doctors accepted the mother's request. So did they remove it and then put it back in? Do you know?
You know, when I was researching it looked like he already had it, and he was supposed to try to eat.
Oh, eat while he had
ways.
it?
Yeah.
So maybe the request was like to up more food in the feeding tube versus feeding.
Yeah, that's
him
what I'm
regularly.
thinking, because it looked like it was still inserted.
Not that this is hugely important, but I was just wondering because that if it was 2 different feeding tubes, that's 2 different procedures, which is horrific for a child that age unless necessary. So, Hitch Up and Toe said, "Sounds sinister to me."
So Garnett has surgery again. This time for a procedure that prevented him from vomiting. This way his mother could feed him without him regurgitating food.
Oh. Why don't they send nurses out, like a 24-hour nurse that can monitor and evaluate the situation before making big life-altering decisions like that on a baby?
Because they're going off of what she's telling them, you know, so.
You think they would need like a second set of eyes to be able to approve of something so major. But then again, I guess that's mother's rights and all of that involved in that too. Lacy was always using social media networks. Huh.
Baby.
He looks so happy there.
Yeah.
That big old smile, just looking at his mother.
And she looks so innocent there.
She looks like she loves him a lot.
Yeah.
Char of Heart, hello and welcome. Happy New Year. This Becky.
Lacy Spear was extremely active on social media, especially Facebook. She also kept a blog called Garnett's Journey. There she shared details of Garnett's hospitalizations, photos in the hospital, and what they were going through.
Oh, he's such a cute little guy.
Yeah.
He really is. In one of these accounts, okay, come on now. In one of these accounts, she laments. I don't know. You all know what it is. You can see it about Garnett's nutrition. She states that even after the surgical procedures, he was not feeding himself. and that he would undergo yet another surgery, this time a gastrostomy. Gastrotomy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll work. In 2010, mother and son moved from Alabama to Florida, where they would be near Lacy's grandmother. At this time, the mother got a financial benefit from the government and also worked as a cleaner.
So was she getting money from the government because of his illness?
Sounds like it.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Living in a community. Is that her or him?
That's him.
That's him?
Yeah, she let his hair get real long, but that's him.
Yeah, the eyes just look so different.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still big, but the eyes just look different. He still looks so happy.
Mm-hmm.
In Florida, Lacy heard about a community called Fellowship Community. There they basically cared for the elderly, contribute to the community services, and in return earned housing, food, and education for their children.
She moves to this location while Garnett was 3 years old. It seemed like the ideal place to raise a child. The two adapted very well to the place, and Garnett quickly made many friends.
Once one of the families took their children and Garnett to lunch at a restaurant near the community. The boy was known to have difficulty eating, but to the surprise of the adults, that day he ate desperately and even asked to repeat the meal. He was hungry.
Yeah.
For a child that can't eat,
Yeah.
sure wants to eat. Sounds like Munchausen syndrome by proxy. I agree. You know, the
Yep.
craziest, not that this story isn't crazy, but the craziest story I heard of that came out of Missouri with, and they made that Netflix show and everything. Oh, what was her name? Somebody in the comments over here will know it, but there was a mom and a daughter, and the daughter had like everybody thought the daughter couldn't walk. And she ended up never having anything wrong with her. She ended up killing her mom. I forget the girl's name.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the
Was
name.
it the soup when she was? I remember something about soup being poisoned, but it's probably a different story.
Yeah.
Well, I think the mom did poison some of the girl's food because she would make her
Yeah.
go to sleep at night. That's how she kept her locked up in the house, was that she would drug her, because the girl was like a teenager, and the mom was saying she was like 12, and she wasn't. She was like 19.
She was older.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even the girl thought she was younger than she actually was. But the girl ended up realizing that she could walk one day, and then from there she started like uncovering all the lies and everything. And eventually she ended up killing her own mother. But then after she killed her own mother, that's when everybody found out that there was nothing even wrong with the girl, and the girl grew up and realized it. And my thought is, like, how did the mom think she was going to continue to pull that off?
Yeah.
Like, forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish I could remember her name because it's a really popular case, but all right. Sorry. And now that I've talked, I don't remember. I think it's Becky's turn to read, right? Yeah.
No, I just read. Oh, yeah. So it is Becky. You're right.
And then I need to press play. Dee Dee Blanchard. Yes, Happy Place. That's the one. Dee Dee Blanchard.
Yeah.
Oh, such a cutie.
Precious little boy.
Such a cutie.
Mm-hmm.
From this, some people began to question what Lacy was talking about, and also to ask who Garnett's father was. She told everyone that the boy's father was named Blake, a police officer, but had died in a car accident, and at the time of the accident, they were engaged.
Hitch up and toe. No, it was I don't remember what it's called, but it's about D.T. Blanchard, and it was on Netflix. Like they were originally from Louisiana, and the hurricanes came in and destroyed their home. So they got a home here in Missouri built by Habitat for Humanity, and they were flown out here by a helicopter, private like plane or private helicopter. I don't remember. It was one of the two, because of all these illnesses she had. And it's like, how did they fool the hospital
Yeah.
and all of these people? And she never had not a single thing wrong with her. It's like,
Wow.
I think she
mind
questioned the
blowing.
doctors too.
Did she?
I
Oh,
would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did they
Yeah.
not notice there wasn't
Yeah.
nothing wrong with her?
Yeah.
Well, and that was the thing. She kept switching hospitals. And every time they'd say something wrong with her, she could start switching hospitals. And that's eventually why she so badly wanted to get out of the state she was in too, because they started to catch on. So then they moved to another state. It's a whole thing, but it was pretty crazy. The
Yeah.
Act. Yeah, I think the name of it's called The Act. All right. So did Garnett's, like, did they ever figure out who Garnett's father actually was, or
Yeah.
do?
Uh-huh.
Stories about Blake were also common on the blog. Lacy used to post that she missed him and wished he was there.
The Sympathy Act. It is believed that this was the happiest period in Garnett's life. Life in the community was great, but his mother kept firming up the need to maintain the feeding tube.
Wouldn't you kind of get tired of living a lie this big? Wouldn't that get exhausting to have to keep up that lie? 5 years old, new hospitalization.
Poor guy.
She always looks so happy when he looks so ill.
She does.
Definitely looking for attention. It's a very weird psychological condition. I agree. Hi, lucky dog.
In January 2014, Garnett had to be hospitalized again. This time he had a high fever and a severe headache. He was kept under observation. A few hours later, his temperature went down and his headache subsided, so they were released home.
Hey, Thrifty Angela.
A few days later, Garnett returns to the hospital with his mother, showing the same symptoms, but this time including convulsions. The doctors monitored the boy's brain activity, but while he was there, he did not have any further seizures.
This poor kid was suffering.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, Garnett had intense stomach pains. He tried to vomit, but couldn't because of the surgery he had undergone. Quickly, the boy stopped breathing, and the sodium test that indicated a quantity of 182 MEQL, and when he arrived at the hospital, this value was 138 MEQL. Such a quantity could lead to death. I don't understand a mother hurting their child. Does not make sense to me.
It's hard to fathom that a mother would want to do that.
Hi, Linda Barker. I mean, you
give birth. This is a piece of you. How could you do that?
The whole role of a mother is to protect, teach them to grow into a better, bigger, wonderful human being. You're supposed to protect them. I just don't. That's quite the opposite of that. I will never understand this illness. I could never harm my child in any way.
Mm-mm.
Neither. I don't understand someone needing attention so badly that they would hurt their child. Mm-mm.
The boy's condition was stabilized and he was taken to a specialized hospital. There, the doctors were able to normalize his sodium level, and Garnett again responded well to treatment.
Tommy
Tommy.
always has a way of making me giggle. Why I cut down on my MEQ/L.
Okay. In the hospital, they stayed for 2 days. The boy improved a lot and was ready to be discharged. Then on Sunday morning, the nurse talks to Lacy and informs her that Garnett will probably be discharged that same day.
Thrifty Angela, this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand harming yourself either. I'm not going to be able to wrap my head around that, but I do realize that some people like cut themselves and do things like that to kind of release their pain. Okay, so I understand that's a thing. But if it came to a choice between my child and me, I'm going down. My child is not going to be harmed in any way. That's something I'm not understanding. I could not understand how a mother could do that. I couldn't harm any of my children, even though they push you to the limit. True. It's so weird how the human mind can work. Agreed. Is it my turn to read?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a security camera in the room, and Lacy consented to have them filmed during the hospitalization. Doctors were getting smart. The footage looked normal. The mother playing with Garnett, sleeping next to him, doing hygiene care. Why couldn't she just be normal? Look how happy that little boy, like, he's not smiling in that, but he's so cute and so wonderful looking. And then she's smiling so big, and they've got the matching shirts. It looks like the perfect mother-child relationship.
And every picture of her, that's how she looks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like she's happy to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
About 10 minutes after the nurse leaves, Garnett starts to feel very bad. The boy had barely recovered from the last episode. This time his brain began to swell. His body stopped responding, and he was put on life support.
Linda Barker said, "Hello, Becky." Yeah, I could never harm myself, but definitely me before my children. The doctors may have got smart, but it took them long enough.
True.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, my daughter, just a quick story about hospitals around here. My daughter got into the medicine cabinet. Well, not the medicine cabinet, like underneath the sink. We had safety things on them since my son was a baby. We had like the little baby proofing
latches.
Yeah. But she had figured out how to open those. So we took rubber bands, hair ties, and had those on top of the baby proofing. And we all ended up with the flu. And my daughter, she's always been wild and crazy. She got up, got out of her crib, went in the bathroom, and managed to get open the cabinet while we were all sleeping. I woke up because I smelled like a peppermint-y type of smell. And I look over and she has flea soap, toothpaste, shampoo, like all the stuff from underneath the sink. And some of it was on her clothes, so I knew she had ingested some of it. So I immediately called my pediatrician. He said, write down everything that's sitting around her right now. After you write it down, call poison control. And then, keep an eye on her. So I did all of the steps I was supposed to. And she started to get lethargic on me. So I took her to the emergency room. They immediately called Child Protective Services on me. They immediately started investigating me. They weren't even working on her. They were too worried about me.
Yeah.
And why was she like this? I'm like, wait a minute. I did everything I was supposed to. Like, this child did this to herself. But here's the thing. As mad as I was that I was being investigated, I understood it. And because she had to stay overnight until her levels went back correct, they had a nurse that stayed at the door and kept an eye on us. I got to stay with her, but they had a nurse that stayed and kept an eye. So, like, going through that situation myself, like, why wasn't that something that was happening with this? You know, like, I'm
Exactly.
confused how things are slipping through the cracks the way that they are, because I know in my situation, I was a mother who didn't do this on purpose, but they were on me, making sure that things were okay.
It could have been prevented, you know, if they would have just investigated and did like what you're saying.
Yeah, like, I didn't mind them investigating at all. They came out to my house, they looked, they saw I had the baby proofing, they, you know, so everything ended up cleared and fine. But man, just investigate. If somebody's innocent, they're not going to mind you investigating. So I know I'm missing a bunch of comments over here. So we've got RV Underway popped in. Hello. Happy Place Camping says, so I wonder, was she wired wrong, or did something happen to her that caused her to desire attention this deeply? It's interesting. I think it took so long for the doctors to realize what was going on because I don't think they wanted to believe a parent could do this to their child. And if they were wrong, they could be sued. I'd take being sued over losing a child.
I'd rather be wrong and be sued than a little one loses life.
Yeah. Over here, we moan about social services sticking their nose in, but this case shows that we need them. Yeah, like, I wasn't real happy that, you know, they were questioning me instead of working on my daughter. But at the same time, I knew I didn't do anything wrong. So I was like, do what you got to do. Just make sure my daughter's okay, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. If it's a suspicious type of situation, it should have been looked at and handled differently. Why are the parents that shouldn't be investigated are, but the parents that should aren't? I don't understand that at all. I do think our system is very flawed. All right, I lost track of who was supposed to read.
It's Becky on the next one.
Okay.
All right.
No big words, no big words.
Right. No big words, no big words.
Here we go.
Once again, the sodium level was sky high, and it was impossible that it was occurring naturally without someone inducing it.
I'm glad that they caught on eventually, though. Your children's health is more important than your feelings. Very true. Doctors guess a lot, said RB Underway. Meanwhile, in her Facebook post, Lacy Spears seemed to not believe what was happening, asking people to send prayers and good energy to Garnett. The doctors begin to suspect Lacy. The police are called. Yeah, if it's only happening when the mom's around, you ought to suspect the mom.
Yeah.
The lies are about to end. So cute.
Peanut butter. There's his feeding tube. Poor thing. 2 police called to the case. One headed to Lacy, while the other followed the investigation at the hospital. While Lacy is talking to a policeman, his father, Garnett's grandfather, arrives. So his father arrives and his grandfather.
Oh, his father and his grandfather arrive. The father that's dead.
Yeah. At this point, a policeman comments on what is happening and mentions that he is very sorry about the death of the boy's father, Blake. Grandpa looks confused and says, "Who is Blake?"
Who is Blake?
Who the hell's Blake? From this, he tells that Garnett's real father is named Chris Hill. He was a neighbor of the family and had a short relationship with Lacy. The problem is that bruises or poisons automatically trigger alarm bells. A child with a fever or not eating isn't as clear.
True.
That's true, but I guess for me, I would always think the worst scenario and investigate that first and then move to other scenarios.
You would be a good investigator, BB.
Who is Blake? Uh-oh. I've heard of Munchausen syndrome or something like that. Something about a parent will harm the child to get attention for themselves. Yes.
Yeah.
Which we were just discussing, like, I don't understand why do you harm the child? Why not harm yourself to get attention for yourself? Why are you doing that to a kid?
He can't protect himself.
Yep.
You know.
Oh, she don't look so happy in her little police photo here. I wonder if she did try to say she was sick and stuff first and it didn't work, and that's why she went on to harm her child. You know, like her head shaved and all that stuff. And
yeah,
I wonder if she did try to pretend she was sick first, and then I don't know, just an idea.
And the Blake that Lacy used to talk about really existed. His name was Blake Robinson. He was in fact a police officer in Alabama, and to everyone's surprise, he was alive and well. Blake said that he only went out with Lacy a few times, but they never had a relationship.
Oh, RV Underway said, my sister suffered with Munchausen syndrome. It's real. I can imagine it's real. Yeah. I don't think that it's not real, because otherwise, like, why would these people be doing this? I don't think that if they had a choice in how their brain work, I don't think they would choose to harm their child. 100% don't think anybody would choose that. However, I still don't understand why there isn't something, an alarm bell going off in their head going, don't do this, you know? Or have you ever told a lie, like just a little lie, and that made you feel so disgusted and like heavy for yourself? Can you imagine living out this kind of lie? That has got to be so heavy. Because a kid will get more attention than an adult, and it will get the sad mother more attention too.
True.
All right. I don't think it's not real. It's just hard for us to wrap our brains around it.
Yeah.
All right. Becky's up.
Yep.
He did not know about these stories or the blog post where she claimed that he was Garnett's father.
Yeah, I don't think it's a choice. I believe it's real. It's just hard and something I will never understand. It's sad. I don't know. Something, and this kind of goes along with me saying like a lie and then that feeling bad thing. There are people that don't have an inner voice. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody here in our chat.
Not a conscious.
Well, and not even that it's not a conscious, but like Bulldog and I were talking about this. Bulldog and my son and me were talking about this. I have a voice that is constantly running in my head that's telling me to think about this and to do that and to da. And Bulldog and my son, they said they absolutely have no voice at all. They literally have to write themselves a list, or they take notes, or they do whatever. There's nothing up there telling them to do something. It's like a blank box. And I was like, really? That's possible? I didn't understand that. Like, it doesn't, I don't get it that you can think nothing like that, you know, but there are people that absolutely do not have an inner voice at all, that just doesn't talk to them. All the time. I have conversations with them and everything.
Yeah, we see that from your shorts.
That's true. Garnett's house search. Was it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, sea salt right there.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine life with no inner voice. Right, Tommy? Hey, honey and me. When the police enter the house, they find several bottles of medicine that correspond to treatments for Garnett's illnesses. On the dresser next to the medicines, there was a can of salt. Yep, I definitely have multiple voices. My brain never shuts off. I'm always thinking, what should I be doing next? What do I need at the store? Etc. I wish I could shut it off. That is me, Thrifty Angela. It seems so bizarre to not have my brain constantly thinking of stuff. Yes. Yes, yes. RVing with G, hello and welcome. Yeah, there are legitimately people though that just it's shut off. And
Yeah.
I was shocked because Bulldog's so smart. He knows everything about everything. So I figured he was sitting there having these inner dialogues about all these different things. And he's like, no, if you look over at me, I am thinking absolutely nothing except for I'm enjoying this show right now. Like, what?
Okay.
That's possible? It was funny. I think the way the conversation got started was I seen something on TV and I was like, that's a lie. And then I would talk to him and he's like, no, I don't have that. And then his son came out and we asked him, he's like, no, I don't have that. We were all like, okay.
Inside the trash were found feeding bags with a white liquid, which matched Lacy's claims that the boy was still being fed on breast milk. At first, there was nothing in the house that would really help the investigations.
RV Underway said, those that suffer with Munchausen syndrome are very capable of carrying on a charade for a long, long time. They feed on the sympathy of family and friends. It is a reality to them and those who care for them. So I guess what you're saying there, if I'm understanding correctly, is that instead of it being like a heavy lie that they're feeling bad about, to them it is real. What they're saying is real. They really think these illnesses exist. So my question is, if they really think it exists, but they're adding like in this case, the salt that's making the sickness, do they just kind of blank out and not pay attention to that part of what they're doing? I don't know if you know the answer to that question, but I guess trying to wrap my head around it, that would be my question about it. Because I could get how they could get consumed in it and think it's real, but then there is that thing that they're doing that's making them sick. So how do they not acknowledge that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sometimes I'm like, I am just talking. I've had a whole conversation with people that were already pre-planned in my head beforehand. Yes. Yes. When I first met Hippie, I had to have like a whole plan of what I was going to say because I was so nervous meeting him. I guess they do blank out. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would kind of that gives me a better explanation of it. For sure. Right. And I don't know whose turn it is.
Or it becomes a norm in their life that just it's just there.
Yeah.
It's just something they get used to doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Becky's.
Testimony of a neighbor. So cute.
Like a dragon.
Other than what she was doing to him, I mean, he looks really well cared for.
Yeah.
Okay. The other day, while the officers were questioning Lacy again, a neighbor named Valerie contacted the police and told them that on the day Garrett became very ill, Lacy called her and asked her to throw away as soon as possible a bag of food that was in her house and not to comment to anyone about it, and so she did.
What?
Why would you do that?
You're saying something was wrong.
You know?
Why would you do that? Why would that not, again, the alarm bells. Why were not alarm bells going off and going, this kid's sick. She's asking me to throw something away and not tell anybody. I'm going to call the police.
Yeah.
Why was that not a thing?
And it's not like it wasn't public knowledge because she posted it on blogs and everybody knew what he was going through, you know?
What aggravates me about these children's stories that are in the news or that we're covering or whatever is they are failed by so many people. It's not one person failing them. It is the mother's failed him. The doctors failed him to, until this point. The neighbor now has failed him. The father, if the father was alive, why wasn't he doing something? Like what? Again, so many people are failing these children.
Mm-hmm.
So then that proves to me that what you're doing is wrong if you're asking someone to throw away evidence. True. Tommy said, wow, imagine how nervous she'll be before meeting. Tommy, when you were in town last time, I had like a million different conversations with myself, trying to get myself to find time to meet with you. And how could I get myself to do it without being a nervous wreck? Seriously. Should have seen me before I met Nette. It's with everybody. When I loaded that short and it says that I belong to the streets, no, I actually belong to my house and I don't go out in the driveway. I was not kidding. I like my house. It's safe in here. I don't get it. Was thinking the same thing, Thrifty Angela. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that the neighbor's now involved too. The neighbor should be in trouble for throwing away evidence.
Yeah.
But Valerie had kept the bag in her house. So she kept it. That's good. The police collected this evidence along with the bag of breast milk left there on the day of the search. Both were sent to the laboratory for analysis. Well, that's good. She didn't throw it away. Sounds like she ended up doing the right thing. But
she should have contacted somebody
right away.
Yeah.
Right away.
Let me throw this away.
Yeah. As soon as she got the phone call saying, throw this away, she should have contacted somebody.
Yeah.
One of the feeding bags.
2 days after he became ill, Garnett was pronounced dead. His brain was badly swollen. He had a few cardiac arrest, and the devices that were keeping him alive were turned off.
Bet she didn't mean to take it that far.
5 years old.
5 years of suffering. Because he started suffering 9 days after he was born.
Yeah.
Yep.
5 years of suffering. Lab results.
Oh, he's eating.
He's eating there.
Yeah.
But the boy that doesn't eat, he's sure eating.
The samples sent to the laboratory had a high sodium content. In one of them, the quantity found corresponded to 69 small pockets of salt. The quantities were lethal. Or packets, not pockets. I'm thinking of little salt things you get,
Yeah.
There was another mother that poisoned her child, but I think they found that it was accidental with salt. But it wasn't regular salt. It was it comes in the green and white bottle or the green and white canister. It starts with a C. I can't remember. It's like kind of a seasoned salt, but her kids loved it. And so that she would mix a little bit of it with water and they would drink it like that. And she had no idea that salt poisoning was even a thing. And one of her children ended up severely ill. And they thought that she was poisoning the child, but it turns out, no, it was just, she had no clue that could harm the child. But this is so much. And
unreal.
So it's put into the formula. Like she knew what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Once again, Lacy was interrogated. The policeman asked her how there could be so much salt in the body of a 5-year-old child.
That wasn't eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was, giving it to him.
Yeah.
She was feeding him.
Mm-hmm.
She answered that this questioning should be asked of the doctors and not of her, a mother who was already suffering so much.
All about her.
All about her.
Oh, poor her. I feel real
Mhm.
sorry for her.
Yeah.
Ten weeks after Garnett's death, the coroner confirmed that the case was a homicide and the prime suspect was Lacy Spears.
Yeah, ain't nobody else. I really don't get, though, what the father was doing this whole time. I guess we're going to hear some. Then the police look for Chris Hill, the boy's father, and discover that Lacy had made up several stories about him. According to Chris, he had always wanted to be present in Garnett's life. He even has another son and is very involved in his upbringing.
But she moved around a lot. Maybe she didn't tell him where she was,
Yeah. I struggle with
Everybody
this.
thought he was dead, the real father, so nobody bothered looking into it, getting hold of his real father. Like, why is your son so sick?
Yeah.
And I struggle with this because I'm going to fight till the end of my days. If I have a child and that child's being kept from me,
Yeah.
I'm going to fight till the end of my days to get my child into my life. So I struggle when it comes to parents being like, oh, well, the other parent was keeping him. Is there court papers? Is there something showing that you're fighting to see this child? Or did you just decide, oh, well, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of struggle really bad with that. Footage, hospital room. Didn't they catch her on camera?
Yeah.
Giving it? All right. I don't know whose it is.
BB's, right? You just right? I think it's your turn, BB.
Okay.
I don't know.
Analyzing. It's easy to lose track.
Easy to lose it, yeah.
Analyzing the evidence, the part of the video recorded just after the nurse left, which communicated to Lacy about the hospital discharge, particularly catches the investigator's attention.
Because he was ready to be discharged. And
Yeah,
all
he
of a
was
sudden he
not
got sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the images, it is possible to see that the mother takes the boy to the bathroom and closes the door. Soon after they leave, the symptoms that led to Garnett's death begin. So that was a photo of the nurse talking to her with him sitting in the bed.
And then her going to the bathroom with him.
Yep, and that's where she grabbed him. Yep, took him to the bathroom.
And then suddenly he's sick again. Prosecution, mother's mental health and sentencing. Suddenly she has long hair again.
On June 17, 2014, after a thorough investigation, Lacy Spears was arrested.
Please tell me she's still in jail. Please tell me she's still in jail. Although not formally diagnosed, Lacy has been attributed with the rare Munchausen syndrome by proxy, a disorder in which a child's guardian purposely harms the child just to gain sympathy and attention for himself.
Yep. Like, why are you crying?
Yeah, like, why are you crying? You knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
On March 2nd, 2015, the jury found Lacy guilty of murdering her son by poisoning him with cooking salt. which she slowly administered through his feeding tube.
That's probably what happened in the end. Is she didn't have the time to slowly put it in because they were going to discharge him, and she didn't want him discharged. So she probably quickly gave him and didn't.
Yeah.
Just pure
Paid.
salt.
Yeah,
No
like a
formula.
big dose.
Yeah, no formula or nothing. Just
Yeah.
a shot of the salt.
I have to go. Have a great show. A great show. Hope everyone has a great night. Thank you, Thrifty Angela.
Bye, Thrifty.
Bye.
Oh, she looks mad there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know whose it is.
On April 8th of that year, Judge Robert Neary sentenced her to 20 years in prison for killing her son, 5-year-old Garnett, and amazingly, she poisoned him with high amounts of salt. She was sent to the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility for Women in New York City. She maintains that she's innocent. Lacy Spears will be eligible for parole in
2034.
2034. She will be just 46 years old.
20 years.
That's all she got.
I'm not happy with that at all.
Mm-mm.
That little boy would have lived longer than 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
She should be in there for as long as he would have lived, which means she should die in there, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Or it's pretty clear that she killed him, so maybe somebody should have done the same to her with the lethal injection. I don't know. Just saying. Just saying.
Well, they don't like that stuff, in prison, so you never know what her
They
outcome
might
may
have
be.
kept her out, kept her away from the main population.
True.
That happens, and that makes me mad. It's like,
Yep.
let these beasts take care of whatever they want to take care of when they're behind them jail walls. I don't know.
Yeah.
The cutie pie.
He is so precious.
And even though he was going through so much, the pictures of him still show him happy. It's like heartbreaking.
Yep.
Well, that was a very interesting story. I don't want to say good because good's not.
Yeah.
Shannon said she got off easy. Yep.
Yeah, she definitely got off easy. 100%. So before we head out, Becky, what videos do you got coming out, or what have you just released, or anything exciting going on for you? Well, we can see you two are together, so
Yep.
that's exciting.
Yay!
I think our next video coming out is coming Friday. I don't know what Roy's got stored for Wednesday. He usually does them little retro of past trips we've done. He just does like a slide. But I think this Friday is going to Helen, Georgia with his mom. I believe this is the one coming up. We didn't get no spaghetti ice. We didn't read. They're only open on Thursday through Sunday. We went on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we got to do it again.
Now, you all together have been dealing with some pretty cold temperatures where you're at also, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think they brought it to Texas, honestly.
I think, that's Roy's fault.
That's Roy's fault. Yeah, we were pretty cold last night. Pipes froze. We all disconnected from the water, but
Our water spigot was froze.
it was froze.
You couldn't
right?
turn
Yeah.
the knob even.
The wind chill was 1 degree this morning. And it's supposed to be warmer tomorrow in the 40s. But yeah, it's been getting pretty cold here in Texas.
That started last year or the year before, the coldness, because Texas really didn't get that cold before, and now in the last couple of years it's been getting really cold.
Strange. Yeah.
We spent most of the morning getting our pipe between the water pump and the tank thawed out.
Yeah.
Because the pump's on one side and the water tank's on the other. And we're pretty sure that line between froze in the floor.
Honey and
Yep, I blame Roy. He did it.
My mom had a neighbor who did this too, but it was saying her child was sick when they weren't at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then blame Roy.
Yep.
And then Nettie, what do you got coming up? You just released, I think it was Niagara Falls, right?
Wait,
no,
it was Yellowstone. It was the falls in Yellowstone just came out. That was the last day that we were in Yellowstone. And it made me sad because I miss Yellowstone. It was an amazing place.
Mm.
So the next one, go ahead.
I meant Yellowstone. My brain just said Niagara Falls. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's all good, BB. The next one coming out Saturday is us traveling to Washington. Yeah. So we got our traveling video coming out next. We're still on our caravan. So.
Tommy, you can keep those temperatures.
Yes.
It was -10 in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy Travels, let us know how your car situation's going. You still driving the rental? Did you find a new one? What's up with that? Tell us. I'm curious. That's so stunk. And he has stayed so positive through all of the different. He even had his bathroom sink was overflowing like right around Christmas time too. So his car ended up getting stolen.
Oh my gosh.
And then his bathroom sink, he's videoing it and it's overflowing and coming out. And I'm like, and this man's just steady laughing and staying calm. I'm like, I would be losing it.
Yeah.
You are my hero.
Twisting.
I wanted to go out with a bang.
All right. Happy
He
New
went out
Year.
with a bang, and he stayed calm, cool, and collected through it all. So I highly respect Tommy there.
I think I've been a ball and mess.
We have just had our warmest New Year's Day since records began. Still felt cold to me.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Lucky Dog.
Thanks.
And Lucky Dog put out a lasagna recipe.
Yeah.
And I followed her recipe, but used it to make manicotti, and I stuffed my manicotti instead of doing the lasagna. It was really good. So if y'all haven't seen that, go check that out. She got a good recipe for that. I'm still in the rental until January 21st, and then I'll have a new car. All things working out.
Like they took it off roading. Did.
No.
Tommy's positive attitude is amazing. It truly is.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd been balling. Sitting in the middle of the floor.
My family would have ran and hid somewhere. They would have been like, leave mom alone. The world's going to end.
Back away. Back away.
So, well, I really enjoyed doing this live with both of you ladies and having everybody in here chit-chatting. Like I always say, Sundays are my fun day. And
Oh, absolutely love it. Thank you for joining us, Becky. It's been so much fun with you.
Yeah, I love having you.
Tongue-tied.
No, you did good.
See, it's Roy's fault.
Yeah.
He starts it and then I follow suit.
Yep.
All right. With that being said, wishing you all much kindness and much love.
And we're sending love your way.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Later.